Hello, everyone. It's still muted. Am I not muted? I don't
know.
No,
you're good. You're good.
Oh, yes, here we go.
Seamless.
Absolutely seamless. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SAFC Fan TV Extra Time with me, who's having lots of technical issues, so you'll have to bear with me. We've got Wayne and Mike with us. Wayne, how's your day been today?
Not too bad. Nice and hot as it has been this week, but canny week. First one of these I've done for a while, so a bit out of practice, but looking forward to the next however many minutes it is.
Telling me my computer's decided to have a go at me every single time I've tried to do this now. What are we on? Second, third, fourth attempt? Mike, how are you? You all right?
Yeah, I was all right like half an hour ago and we should have started, but we'll forgive you for that one. But yeah, I'm just I love my kids, but I'm praying for the end of the summer holidays right now.
Yeah.
I can imagine. I can well imagine.
So we thought we'd jump on because we do an extra time. We try and get one out each Thursday at 7 now. We've got the Preston game to talk about from the other night. So from the highs of what was Saturday lunchtime, straight back down to reality, it felt like. And I know we're going to probably talk into selections and things like that, but like, Wayne, were you cup game? Are you bothered that much, or is it more just the lack of a display?
No, I didn't agree. Regardless, it's only the cup, and we should be out the cup. I think, these fringe players who want to force their way into the first team, this is the perfect opportunity for them to do that. And it's the only kind of competitive game time they're going to get. So the longer we stay in the competition, the better for me. And it was just poor, wasn't it? It was just really poor. Apart from the first 15 minutes, it was shocking.
Did you watch it as well, Mike? I know you weren't on the stream, but were you watching the game?
I was watching it. I was actually a minute ahead of Philly, the guy that's always behind. I was ahead.
Yeah.
I was like, sub me in. But I'll be devil's advocate here. I think there was glimpses of some good performances in it. I think there was a lot to take away. I know this sounds like a very scripted manager answer. I'm going for my job next year. But there was a lot of good points to take away. And yes, I'd like to have seen us go through. Like Wayne says, it gives them all a longer chance. We've got the squad depth we've got and quality has been the best it's been for a long time. If that was our B team and you look at some of the players and the names on the pitch, I think we should have done a lot better, definitely. But there was decent performances in it.
I'm the total opposite opinion to Mike. I just think our squad depth absolutely shocking. If if that's our B team, then if we get some injuries, especially at the back, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble.
I didn't see the game because I was out. As you know, I'm a grafter. Sorry, that's Philly's line. So I was just out.
You were playing five-a-side. Don't talk to me about graft. I was
grafting, stood at the back doing absolutely naff all. Wayne sees me, I don't move. I missed, exactly, in his own net. So I missed the game. I saw the last little bit of Philly and Emma's stream, and I had a read through on what had happened today. And there was lots of bits that I've made notes on that we're going to go through on here. But I think the highlights for me looked like, even though there weren't many, it looked like we were bossing it for about 10, 15 minutes. Bar had a couple of glimpses. Ashish was looking dangerous, and it felt like, actually, we've picked up in a similar sort of vein. And then it just started to just be all Preston for the rest of the highlights.
Can I adjust my statement? Squad depth, midfield and attacking. We've got quality. It's the defense that's let us down.
Yeah, I'll start with that one because when I was having a read through on sort of like player ratings and general performances and what have you from various people, what people tend to say was, God, if we get any injuries, we're in trouble. And then they were looking down at players like Johnson and Anderson going, I feel harsh on them because they're only young, but they're not in their natural positions. But if they can't force their way into being our backup centre-backs with them as sort of thin as we are, with like Triantis, Seals, Hjelde playing centre-back as well, then is there much hope for him, Wayne?
Well, that's it. That's even more of a worry because, you've got the likes of Timothy and Pembelia who, from what we've seen of him so far, is never going to make it at the club. But he couldn't even, whether he's injured or he couldn't even get on the bench, and we ended up playing the centre half at right back. In fact, centre half at left back and right back. So that's even more worrying. Yelder, just mistake after mistake. Trent, I'm not going to be too harsh on Trent. I thought he did quite well last night. Since his first game back, he's been injured all of pre-season, and he didn't look too bad. But the other three, it's hard to be too harsh on Johnson and Anderson. But I just don't think they're good enough to even make it centre half either.
Does it worry you that Labrie might be too rigid? The fact that he only had centre backs and he didn't change the formation to suit that, because he could have gone 3 at the back, right?
Could have had, yeah, most definitely. I just think that, you take Preston. Preston only changed 3 players, I think, from Saturday's game. And I think we were forced into making 11 changes because we cannot afford to lose any of those first-team players because the squad depth isn't good enough. And if that the worry is, if anybody of them first team gets injured, then they've got to step in. We're going to struggle.
Yeah,
it's the fans I feel sorry for. 2,500 went down there. Yeah, expecting maybe a few changes, but not a full 11.
No, exactly. And I mean, when I saw the team, I was a bit like, well, I'm glad Rigg and Ekwa are getting some minutes in there, because I still think Rigg should be pretty much a first teamer. I know Brown, Neil, and Job had great games on the Saturday, but you're still sort of sitting there thinking Rigg could easily be in this. And Ekwa was fairly decent for us the last 2 seasons, but not based on last night. I think someone highlighted him and Barr as potentially the worst 2. They said Ekwa did take a knock early on and did that sort of like throw him off his game maybe, or just
well a dead leg took him out for a full frigging season last time.
That's right.
Yeah, very true. I forgot about that. And then I think someone put this in probably the best way I could, that Barr has actually now, after yesterday's game, made himself less of the second choice right-sided player and moved himself further back with the sitter that he missed and the rest of the sort of like general play that he had. His chance that he missed was, again, more of a highlight as to if we had a striker who just peeled off his defender just to head the ball or something like that, you're just sort of going like, again, perfect cross from Ashish. Ashish looked threatening the first 15 minutes, shot from distance, couple of decent crosses in. You're sitting there going, actually, if Job went out, I wouldn't be gutted if you had to play, I wouldn't. But I don't know what you thought of them two.
Nah, go on, Mike. I'll let you go first.
I'm going to go first because you're going to disagree with me. So I put a video out on my channel, Black Cats Nation, cheap plug, saying that Barr was my man of the match because he's still got them glimpses of genius about him, and he's got a good work ethic. He just feels rusty to me. Him and Mundle both, I think, Mundle more so, but both of them have got so much potential, and I think he did well for somebody who's getting his first game time since God knows when.
But if you watch him, Mike, right? So if you just watch him, he does about 5,000 step overs. The defender just stands there and watches him, then takes the ball off him. And 9 times out of 10, he beats himself.
Yeah.
And the chance he missed, I mean, I get we haven't got a striker, but he's 2 yards out. He doesn't even hit the target.
Yeah. No, the chance is unforgivable, but everyone's rusty. I'm just, devil's advocate.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Like we there was times in the last season or even the season before when he came on, and you actually went, he's got something, this lad, and we'll obviously refine it down. And now we're starting to go. We've brought Pervader in, who I'll come on to, and you're sitting there going, right, your position's under threat here, because if Roberts can sort of do half of what he did, 2 seasons ago, he's going to be number 1. You should be competing there. You're probably on your way out.
He's just not consistent. Look at the threat he gave to them, that overpriced, crappy Premier League team that's a bit north. When we played them, he came on. It was only the last couple of minutes, but he looked the most dangerous player on the pitch.
Yeah, I was joking with my mates. They brought him on. I went, "Oh, why have you brought him on? He's shocking." And 5 minutes later, they went, "Why hasn't he played the full game? He's amazing."
Well, he's another one that when we signed him, we didn't sign him as a winger. We signed him as a centre midfield player. And the goal he got against Norwich last season, he was playing in the middle.
He's playing false nine, wasn't he?
False nine. He's not a winger.
No, exactly. And for me, you could have played Rig out there. Like towards the end of last season, Rig was playing right-hand side of midfield, and I don't think it would be beyond him to sort of go, actually, yeah, if you sit on this sort of side and we'll pack the midfield, it wouldn't have been a hideous one. Just a quick one for me. Hjelde, he is a left-back, isn't he?
Left back in the dressing room.
Yeah, we wish.
I think he's actually a centre-half, but he can play left back. But from what I've seen of him, he's not either.
No. Well, it was more because I know Anderson and Johnson are mainly centre halves, and I was sitting there going, so why isn't Hjelde at left back and Johnson or Anderson in their natural position, and we only have one player out of position rather than forcing another one out and another one out just because they're young? Does he think, oh, they're fast, they're young, they'll deal with these wingers?
But like what Mike says, why he could have easily gone to a 3 at the back. Now, by playing them two out of position and have poor games and they get shown up, it knocks the confidence even further.
Is Sealt injured?
Yes, he's on the way back, but he got that bad injury last year, didn't he? I think he's still on his way back.
Can I ask you what you thought of Triantis? Because for me, he didn't look as bad as he looked all last season. He actually did a few things right.
I thought he wasn't too, but out of the back four, he was the best player out by a mile. And I thought he defended quite well. It was only a couple of times for the second goal, he got caught out of position when he went, herring forward and got lost. But out of the back four, he was head and shoulders above the other three.
Yeah.
Is it because he was the only one playing in his natural position?
Could have been.
I've got a toy in the other room that we can send to the Sunderland management, and it's about putting round pegs in round holes and square pegs in square holes, and maybe they'll learn something.
Yeah. How long have we been doing that? How long have we been doing that?
The goalie in my highlights video, I thought he seemed all right. I think he's a big step up on Bass and Bishop that we've had. I think he should have probably saved the second goal. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh and he was unsighted on it, but I feel it was right within his sort of hand to reach it. But apart from that, I thought he made some pretty decent saves. He looked commanding of his area, and he seemed like if the worst were to happen that Patterson were to go injured, I wouldn't mind him. It's probably the best way of saying it.
He was my man of the match last night. If it hadn't been for him, it could have been 4 or 5 quite easily.
Yeah. He's very good at quick reactions by the look of it. The set pieces where everyone's panicking. Even though he didn't get hold of it, he got down to it very quickly. Yeah. His reactions are really good. It might be, if it was a Football Manager stat, he'll have high reactions and lower handling. So maybe it's just training ground. So, but he's 31. Am I right? Is he 31?
I think he's about that.
Yeah.
I think.
If he's got that experience for them reactions, if he can pass that on to Patterson, then we're starting to get that training that we needed all last season, where Patterson has an experienced goalkeeper with him on the training ground, teaching him the distribution and reactions.
And who's played in this league already and knows about it being a number one here, not a youngster from Man United or Chelsea who's never played a minute, and someone who's actually played the game and sort of done it. So yeah, I thought he seemed pretty sharp from the few minutes that I've seen. Just quickly going on to Ekwar again. I saw today, and I don't know how true this is, has he been linked with Leicester? I
saw
the same link on News Now, I think.
I think personally, I think he'll be aware. I just think he looked disinterested again last night, and I just think out of all the players that have been linked with moves away, I think he's the one that could go. And I think if anybody comes in with decent money, I'd take it, because for me, he has one good game in 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's a shame because we've seen him when he plays really well, like the Southampton game where he was unplayable as like a number 8 for us, box to box, and towards the end of last season there was all the memes going round of the earth is 70% water, the rest is covered by Ekwar. Like he can be great, but go on,
Can I just say it's exactly the same thing? It's square pegs and round holes
Right,
again, though,
exactly.
because every time we've played him further forward in the centre, he's gone for goal, he's looked threatening, he's looked dangerous, but we keep sticking him in defensive midfield and he's lost.
And he's, as we saw in the Newcastle game, he's not a CDM and he can't really play the ball at his feet as he got robbed easily in that game.
And this is the thing about with too many players in the same position. You've got Dan Neil, who's now playing that sitting role. Dan Neil's further, he's better playing further forward. I think by playing him as a CDM, you take something away from his game. But because you've now got Job and Brown there, I don't know.
Can I ask why we're fitting players to a fixed formation and not make it a formation based on our players? Surely that's the way to do it.
Mowbray liked to do that, didn't he? And played players where they were best, and that's why we probably did so well with when you think about it and how injury riddled we were at the time. We did so well with the players we had, because the only one he couldn't really get to work that well was Geldhart and scoring. But he was doing another role for us, which was taking the defence away for the others to do well. But yeah, I think it seems like Labry's got an idea, which I'm not against, because Beale and Dodds clearly had none. And he's got an idea, and we'll see it again on Sunday against Sheffield Wednesday, who, like you were saying, Wayne are winning again. So they're off to a flyer. So it's going to be a tough game, that one, against a manager who easily outclassed us in the final game of last season as well. It's going to be interesting to see if this sort of system is just too fixed to you're here, you're there, don't move. Like Daniel, don't go further than this. Joe, don't drop back further than this bit.
Do you think it's lack of a striker that is fixing our formation to that each time? Because Clark is the only threat on goal, we have to play that formation so Clark can get forward?
I don't know. This, to me, it's the same as it was a couple of years ago. Remember when we first signed Emir in pre-season? Roberts and I think it might have been Clark, and they were putting crosses in the box, and Emir was on the end of them, knocking headers in. The season started, we stopped doing it. In pre-season this season, we were playing a high press, high energy. The first two games, we've not seen that.
No. You did see on that very first game, after about 10 minutes, Labry's was on the side going, get up, play high.
Yeah, get up. And it seemed to be more of a timed press. But I think you saw it better with Rusin rather than Mayenda. Mayenda didn't seem to get it. And I was saying to Mike and the viewers at the time, I was like, he's just not chasing them down when he should be. And then when he is, it's when he's not got any chance of quickly catching them. Whereas Rusin did a really good job, not against Preston, against Cardiff, of just hounding their defenders. So he didn't have a minute to try and pick a pass forward or break the line. It was like that. That's what we want. I want you to do that, but score. That's what I want.
Against Cardiff, it looked like Job was the one who was pressing the furthest up the pitch.
And that might be what Mike was saying. Yeah, because we don't have a centre forward, a striker doing that, we're having to rely on a midfielder or a runner to do it. But then that means they're out of position. Yeah. So this might be why he's being like, so if we're doing that, someone or you two have to stay here because we're just one ball over, or if they get through it, we're outnumbered. So it could be, like you say, Mike, that there's no striker. So someone's bombing on.
Well, we could have the dream soon. We could have the dream. If you've seen the same room as I have, and the sources, we've got sources on the channel as well, and we believe that Mendy's done, right? That apparently that's according to one of our sources, that's going to go through no matter what. But the latest one I've heard is that the Ross Stewart now on loan is a real possibility.
I've seen that today. Actually.
Imagine Stewart and Mendy up front as a duo.
I mean, I'd take Stewart back all day long. I mean, we spoke about it at one point before, Mike, as like a joke maybe, but I don't hold any grudges against Stewart for leaving. Like, we were offering him our wage structured money, and sort of like, and he wasn't going to have that. Yeah, exactly. But there you go. You're on $2,000. You want 4? You know, something like that. His dad on 15. You know, that type of thing. There you go. That was exactly how the deal went. And I like, you wouldn't turn down Southampton offering you to treble more than treble your wage on the highest we were offering and potentially play in the Premier League, which he has the opportunity to batter Newcastle this weekend. But I hope he doesn't and it comes to us. Do you know what I mean? I hope they win, but he's not a part of it.
They're trying to sign another striker, aren't they? Southampton, I was reading today, which you think they would give him a chance in the Premier League. That he's only played one game for them, hasn't he?
Yeah,
and,
well, apparently
yeah,
that puts him right down on the pecking order for them.
Yeah, because they got rid of Che Adams, so I think they're sticking obviously with Armstrong. And I'm guessing they don't rate Stewart from. He did play a couple of games towards the end of last season. I know he played both the playoff semi-finals, and he looked decent. I thought he looked like it annoyed me because I was sitting there going, "That's what we need. That's exactly what we need." Like, and if we could get him back on loan from them. Because they'll be thinking, let's get him back from injury. Let's see, what we can get out of him. And we're thinking, let's get someone in who knows the team, who knows the area, and has scored goals here for fun. It's a low risk for us.
The thing is, we know he can play in the Championship. Even the few games he did play in the Championship, he looked good.
10 goals in 13 in that first season. So, it was, if he'd have been fit all season, we could have actually been pushing for top 2 that season with him and Diallo. But
Can I say the one benefit of this regime of Speakman and KLD is we probably won't hold a grudge against any player that leaves.
No. If Clark went, you'd be like, yeah, fair enough. If Joe went, you'd be like, yeah, fair enough. Like, it's part of the expected model. And what was it? Southampton did what? 10 mil and 3 points.
Andy was injured.
Yeah, Andy was injured and didn't play a game for the full season. Oh, he came back in October and we injured him in a reserve game. Then he was gone for the full season.
The rest of the season, right?
He scored against us in the reserves, mind. But
I'm not convinced that Mendy's coming either. I just think it's dragged on. And I just think we're trying to get him on the cheap. And them being them, they're just saying, no, if you want me, you pay the money.
Yeah, the new owners, someone was saying, have like sort of gone, it's not worth it. It's this thing. The player wants to leave. But the other day, I read on News Now that he was back in training with them now.
And he'd been training on his own before that,
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, oh, great. Are they patching the bridges up or something like that? They're getting on the same page with it. Like,
well, the thing is, though, if we do get him, so he's nowhere near match fit, he's going to be another 6-7 weeks before he's even ready to play anyway.
Exactly. I saw one just before. Is it Jebison from Bournemouth? I think we got linked with as well. I don't know much about him. I've heard the name before.
Turned us down a couple of years ago, didn't he? I remember he was due to sign for us a couple of years ago. He actually sat in the crowd in one of the pre-season games, and he ended up going somewhere else. Was it Burton he went to? Burton?
Oh, right. Oh, is this like in League One as he moved his way up, has he? Right, okay.
Can I make a point? It's the longest we've ever gone without an Ahmad rumour.
Yeah, true.
I think they're firmly put to bed now, aren't they? They're firmly put to bed.
I drafted him in both my fantasy football teams this season because I'm like, he's going to play. I was watching the Community Shield and I just remember thinking he was turning their left back inside out at one point. And then when I was watching it the second half, I went, where is he? Is he having a quiet game? And they took him off. He was your best one. Like, I didn't get it at all. Shut up, cat. Yeah, it was a strange old game, but the other night, from by the sounds of it.
I just think that, like we did with Broadhead and Ellis Sims, we're putting all our eggs in one basket again, and it's going to get a deadline here, and we're going to scrap the only plus point is that we'll not get Burstow back because he's just signed for Hull permanently.
Oh, unlucky Hull fans.
No one else will loan him off Hull.
Yeah. What's it called? Like a subcontract loan or something like that. No, so overall, I'm more gutted we're out of the competition because it gives our reserves youngsters less game time now. We're just in the league now until we inevitably get someone in the DFA Cup and we do the same thing again. It's that's the only thing, but it felt that way when we got promoted with Alex Neil and we lost to Sheffield Wednesday, and it just felt a bit like lads, this was your chance to either get in the team if you are a Bar, an Ashish, an Ekwar, and the youngsters, this is your time to go, I'm actually just as good as the backups here. You can trust me, and from the sounds of it, no one did that.
That can be part of the problem though as well, can't it? That's it's all right saying all these people want to get in the team, but an individual player trying to impress is less of a team player. And if they're all trying to break into the team, Mundell for me is a future star completely. I think he started off so much better than Clark ever started with us. And he's going that direction. And like there was a long ball over to the left and he didn't manage to control it. But they watch it back and watch the speed. No other player would have got to it. Never mind, had a chance to control it.
Just on what you said there, you've probably got a good point. I mean, Mike, you watched the match last night, same as me. The front 3 or 4, Mundell, Elshish, Bar, and Russian, to me, they didn't play as a team. And when they got the ball, they were trying too hard to take everybody on, and that's where it was breaking down. So you're probably right. They were probably trying too hard to impress and trying to do too much.
Yeah,
and gone the opposite way.
That's a good point, because then you look at, say, our second goal against Cardiff, where Job tracked back for the team, won it, and he didn't just go, all right, we've won it, I'll get up. Yep. He got up and just drove forward with it, pulled his man in, and just played it into Clark. Would Ashish have done that? He'd probably tried to take it on his right foot and have a shot from distance. Yeah. I think Gary Bennett said that Rigg and Mundell were the two sort of players that if you were going to sort of say anyone had a decent game, it was probably them two. But I mean, we said Moore as well had a solid attempt at being a goalie.
Just a shame that we've got these like decent young players who are in positions where they're never going to get a game. You've got Rigg, who's going to struggle to force his way in the team where Job, Neil and Brown are, and Mundell's got no chance getting a game where Jack Clark is, unless he sells him or he's injured. So,
or he goes right-hand side. But
last night, they switched Bar and him on opposite sides, and Mundell went out the game. We never seen him in the second half. So, I feel sorry for Rigg because they keep playing Rigg in these weakened teams, and it's not fair on him.
It's killing him.
I've got a question for you on that. Clark, I'm sorry if this trumps your notes, Conrad, but Clark is apparently renewing the contract. It's going to get announced that he's renewing for another 2 years, or he's extending his contract by 2 years. We saw that his agent was at the Stadium of Light not so long ago, so that makes perfect sense. Is that for a price tag?
Well, apparently that's all been a load of shite. I think James Copley put a statement out today for saying his contacts have heard none of that, and Ian Hart was at the academy because of some kind of friendly charity game he was playing in.
Okay. Interesting.
So it's interesting.
I mean, it would fit with what we did. So, like Ballard, for example, we extended it by 1 year, but we've clearly upped his wages is within that, and I think we'd have done the same with anyone else in the last 2 or 3. Like Elise got an extension, and it's Patterson. A bit like. Yeah, Patterson, you're sitting there going, we'll be upping their wages within our structure, but adding on another year or two. Because I was saying to Terry in our group the other day, the one thing KLD and Speakman are good at is they will not allow a player to get to 12, 18 months away from the end of his deal. We're not having a situation where we're going to be cut priced on a player or we're going to let them leave on a free. They don't allow that to happen.
And no more Rodwell sat on the bench scraping a living.
Well, they actually tell her like they let that happen to players they're not bothered about. Like your Pritchard at the time and your Evans and and Dak.
Danny Blatt.
They're just a bit like we're not bothered there. But if they're bothered, they make sure that they're bothered about it. So did Sirkin renew his deal within the last year or so as well?
I think he did.
Yeah. So if you think you've got Ballard, Lise, Sirkin, you've got Clark potentially, you wouldn't mind betting Job gets one maybe soon because he was given a 3-year deal. Yeah. So I think they'll probably say if you do another 2-year extension with this money, but we'll allow you to leave if this came in.
It's protecting ourselves, isn't it?
Which is exactly what we weren't doing before.
Well, I've got a question for you, and so on about the players getting out. Mm-hmm. So somebody put a good comment on my video last night that, well, actually the comment said it's actually criminal that we've kept the likes of Barr and let Embleton go. Do you think we should have kept Embleton and getting rid of Barr?
I think if Barr wasn't in contract and somebody was interested, we'd have let him go. I don't think it's a case of we've kept him over Embleton. I think Embleton still had another season in him and he had more to offer, but I don't think it's a case of one over the other. It's a case of situation and circumstance.
I think it's to do with Embleton's position is more of a number 10, really, as we've seen it. And You've got Job, you've got Ashish who's in there, and you've also got Bar who plays false 9, can sort of play in and around there. You were probably then looking at, right, well, what about game time for the lot of them? And then you look at Embleton's injury record over the past 2 seasons, and you probably went, let's just call it a day. Because Bar, like you say, is on another 2 or 3 years left with his one, because he was one of those ones we bought on a huge long contract just to make sure that we didn't get caught out if he did turn into a world beater. So I think he's been a victim of circumstance rather than, I don't think he can't offer us anything. I think it was, if we want to offer Clark a wage increase, where does that come from? Actually, Embleton's not on a lot, but that lot would go on to Clark's, and go from there. So I think it's we've moved money around is what we've done. I think so. It's one out the door to improve somebody else, really.
Extra wages for somebody else.
So, I think the only person who got any points in the predictions was Philly, because he got a 3-1 win at Preston. So he got 2 points for being at least Preston were right. But I don't know how Mike, you'll know, but they didn't happen. How you can bet against Sunderland. At least Wayne's gone 1-1 2 games in a row.
I hate betting against us. I'll always go for a draw minimum.
Yeah.
I only went against us for the
opening day superstition
for the first game. Yeah, opening day for one, and the fact that apart from the end of last season, Welsh teams have been a bit of a bogey team for us for season on season.
Just before we came on, Sunderland tweeted out and Instagrammed or whatever social media you're on, the picture of the I'll just move us over so we're not hidden. There you go. A sort of teaser, as it were, of our third strip, if you've seen it there. So I know we've had a few laughing jokes about it before we came on the air, but Wayne, what were you saying that someone said this is the best kit apparently?
So David Bruce, I think the new bloke at the helm who's in charge of all the marketing stuff, he's kind of come out and said he thinks that this strip's the best out of all 3, which
because he knows the sales are going to be worse than the other 2.
Looking at that, it's not better than the other 2.
I honestly, I saw that. Did you see the other picture where it was in the racking? And I did. Before I saw it said third strip or whatever it was on it. It was just in the racking, and I honestly thought it was Christmas onesies, and they were snowflakes.
I can see that.
It's definitely I think it's going to be a Marmite strip, and you're going to love it or hate it.
I'm being interested to see if there's something different on the front, because the leaked picture we saw where there was that guy in like an archway and you could only see the back of it. Then there was the one on the rack, like you're saying, there's this one. This just looks to be the same pattern that's on the back the whole time. Now, I don't know if there's something, I don't know what you'd have on the front that could make it so, magical or anything. But apart from, like everyone who's ever scored a goal against Newcastle just like celebrating and like embossed on the front or something. But
the canny or knee slide silhouette.
Yeah, just something like that. Like you say, it's going to be a Marmite one. I don't know. I like the idea of it at the moment, with being, what you said about the wheel from the mill and the sort of top of our badge and that. So I'm a bit like, I'm interested to see what it looks like tomorrow.
The ribbons crossing over there as well, just at the bottom right. It looks like serpents.
They've
going to be some devil worshipping references.
It's gone for like a tribal print tattoo rather than the sort of actual. It's like if they'd have merged the ships on our red and white one, it just wouldn't look like the ships anymore. They've had to separate them out to sort of redo it. But
it just looks too busy for me.
Yeah.
Interesting that the teaser picture, they've already buried it.
Yeah. Well, I thought because they've got rocks on it, is Dwayne Johnson coming to like release the kit or something?
Well, I think it's meant to be in it, because it's obviously it's to pay homage to the pit. It's cool in it. That's what it is.
Right. I'm just thick as pig shit, me. Like that. Yeah, that's obvious now. You've said it. Like, Jesus. I'm going to edit that bit out. Oh yeah, I really like the design of it. Yeah, it's great. Right, turn that off. Make myself look.
Can you smell what Speakman is cooking?
He didn't. Cole at the WWE. No, he wasn't called that. So, final one, and I'm just going to circle back onto a point we had about Bar, kind of. Pervader, not injured, not unfit is the talk we're hearing.
But
Yet
he was
not in
injured,
the
right?
team.
Well, I've got a couple of friends who I work with who are Sheffield Wednesday fans, and they said he's absolutely brilliant. He's absolutely a fantastic player. The difficulty is getting them on the pitch. When he plays, he's unplayable, but it's getting him to play.
So,
for what reason? For injury? For fatigue?
Well, he's had a couple of bad injuries, but when he comes back, he gets injured quite quickly. But what the Sheffield Wednesday fans were saying when they brought him back, because they were struggling, they brought him back too quick, and he got injured again. So whether they're just taking the time to make sure he's absolutely 100% fit before we bring him in, but getting back to signings like Mendy, another one, why are we signing players that are taking 6, 7, 8 weeks before we can even put them on the bench?
Yeah.
Well, Mendy's been training himself. He's been apparently keeping up with his training, just not with the team.
But he's had no games. He's had no pre-season
He's
games.
got no match fitness, no nothing like that. Like, I don't know. Like you say, it's probably that they're being very cautious with him. Because did he sign was it a 2-year deal?
2 year with the option of another one.
Yeah, so it's not like Dak at the end of the season where we can just go, actually, you've had enough, see you later, bye.
And actually, we don't need to rush him in because Roberts has actually started the season quite well. Now, I've been reading
amazing.
And Bar's class.
Yeah.
I was reading today, we've actually been linked with that Manuel Benson from Burnley. But again, another winger. How many wingers do we need in the squad?
Yeah, it's becoming a bit silly that we've got 2 or 3 for each side.
It worries me when we're linked with people because that tells me that something else in the works, like there's more interest in Clark than we realize and stuff like that. That's what always worries me when we're linked with so many from the same position.
We all know. I didn't know. But
food for thought, isn't it?
I'm looking forward to seeing Pavetta play because, like I said, the reports I've had on him is he is really, really good. But we'll just have to wait and see. But it's this centre forward business is what worries me. If we don't get Mendy, then where do we go?
Yeah.
If we don't sign a single striker by the end of the transfer window, is that our season done, do you reckon?
Well, we know that
I want to see the results come in first.
If we keep Clark, but you kind of keep relying on Jack Clark to score goals.
No.
You need
for Roberts to come good and Job to contribute.
I'd love to see Mienda at the weekend just get a goal. He missed a cracking chance at the weekend. Just one of the strikers to get up and running early on, so they get some confidence and maybe get on a run.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like that's what I thought. Mienda should have still played last night because if he got injured, oh well. Like we've got 2 others that don't score in his position. Let's try one of them. Like it didn't seem to make sense. I know Rusin did well when he came on, but I was a bit like, well, look, stick with him up front. Let's give him that. He missed that chance. It was saved. He didn't miss, but he should have put it away. But it was give him another go. Keep him going.
9 scored, and like you said, we've tried him every other position.
Yeah, exactly. Great head of that.
I don't know whether you're saying when the going around the club during the weekend that asked players certain questions about like another type of player, and they were asking if you were going to send a player to the Olympic Games, who would it be? And they all said Mienda in the 100 meters. So why are we not playing to his strengths and playing through balls?
I said this to you literally on the stream of the game, didn't I, Mike? I was like, he's not a player to high press, join in the attack. What we want them to be pushing us back and then whip a ball up front for him to absolutely run after it. And then the 1 time or the 2 times we did that, he got a scuffed shot with his right foot and then he forced the keeper into a save when he should have scored.
I blame the manager.
Go.
I blame the manager with things like that because players will wander. They'll always wander. And if you've managed football at any level, as a manager, you've got to be in their ear. And they should be saying to him, play off the last man, play off the last man. Just wait, play off the last man. And you've got to keep telling them. You really do. I mean, you can only blame the players so much. The manager and the coaching staff need to, we need to get rid of Dodds.
But he's not going to have he's not going to have a game like it at the Stadium of Light because we all know teams come up to the Stadium of Light and no one attacks us. They sit very rigid. Even the better teams, they sit very rigid and then still grind us down rather than just go, we're better than you. We're just going to turn up and play our game.
Well, I'm hoping Chef Wade come up here on Sunday and they're a bit cocky and they come and have a go because that will suit us.
That's what happened with Southampton.
Yeah, they tried to have a go and we battered them, but I don't know. It's just frustrating because, like what was said earlier on, surely the manager plays the tactics to fit the players what he's got. Yeah, it's not rocket science.
Do you think I like Régis Lebris. Apparently, he pronounced the S's. I was told
Lebris.
So I do like him, and he looks like he's got more passion than any manager we've had in the last 6 months, and that's not a high bar to set. But
he turns up for work. That's about he's beat the rest already.
Why are we not letting them build their own backroom staff? Because clearly that's the issue. That's got to be the issue. The common factor between the last three managers is the coaching staff around them.
And again, you come back to Speakman. I mean, apparently there has been interviews behind the scenes for staff, but worryingly, he did say he'd be happy to continue the season with Dodds and Proctor, which to me, that's just the biggest red flag ever.
Well, no, because you know what it's like when you first meet a coach or something. They're saying all the right things. They acting all the right things. Dodds does have a relationship with the players, so from Lebris's point of view, he looks like an asset because all the players like him.
I think Dodds was kept for Bellingham.
Exactly.
Because I think he had the existing relationship with him of bringing him up as a youngster. And I think they sort of went, God, if we just bin him off, is he going to, be like, I don't know about this. And if we can keep him on side with him for now, he's going to be a cash cow for us in the future.
Who's not asking why the hell is Proctor a striking coach? Who's not asking that question?
Well, that's it. If they want to keep Dodds and Proctor, fair enough. But put them as coaches. You need an assistant in there. Just take them out of the front line, put them as coaches, which is what they have been doing, and get an assistant. I mean, why hasn't he brought his assistant with him who was with him in Lorient?
Not allowed. Doesn't fit our budgets.
Probably not.
I mean, I don't know whether did you see the build up to the game last night on Sky? So it showed you the players arriving at the stadium. So it showed you Reggie Lebris walking down into the dressing room, directly behind him, Christian Speakman.
I saw him there, and I thought, "What the hell are you doing there?
What time? What are you there for? Are you doing a team talk? Are you picking the team?"
It's probably having a say in who goes on the pitch.
Probably. There's always been that rumour. We've gone a little over, but hey ho, what we do. We're having a good chat. We've only really touched on 2 subjects, so we filled the time anyway. So I'll start to sign us out. So don't forget, you can become a member of the channel. It only costs $1.99 a month, I believe. So it's 50p a week, as Philly always says. So doing that means you get all the extra content we put out, like our predictions video, where you get a chance to enter your prediction for the game and potentially win a shirt on the Sunday bunch. Have you got the shirt to hand, Mike? I'm not editing you, so you'll have to move quickly. Is it within reach? There you go.
There we go.
You get a chance.
If you want to see it better.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know that.
I just didn't want to take it out the bag. It's summer holidays. There'd be sticky. You'd get a shirt with 15 sticky fingerprints on it from kids.
Sure. So if you fancy winning that one, all you have to do is be a member. If you're a member already, you're already in the draw for it. If you want to join in, even if it's just for that one go or any go for the competition's absolutely fine to do so. We'll make that draw on Sunday for the Sunday bunch. I'll be doing a live stream on Sunday as well for the game at home, Sheffield Wednesday. Mike, you might be joining me for the second half if you put your foot down or something, I think you said.
I'll be packing a tent up on kickoff, so we'll see how long I can pack that and hit the motorway.
Exactly. So I think that's all that remains to be seen. So do you want to say goodbyes? Any promotions or plugs you've got going on, guys?
Just the usual for me. Only Foods and SAFC. I'm on 3,452 subscribers, so we're looking to get to 3,500 by the end of the season. So if you don't mind, please drop us a subscribe. Be greatly appreciated. And we will be giving this shirt away at the weekend on my channel, so keep your eyes open.
Win 2. If you subscribe to both channels, you could win both. Who knows?
Can win 2, aye.
There you go. You could win 3. You could win 3.
Well, actually, if you're giving the home one away, that one, I'll give the black one away because I've got the black one. I'll give so you can see it.
There you go. There you go.
I'll give the black one.
The one we beat Bury.
The one we beat Bury, and I.
Yeah, and I've only got 500 subscribers at the moment on Black Cats Nation, so I'll be giving away the shirt that Wayne's wearing on my channel. Yeah, it'll be there you go. Thank you, Wayne. I don't have it at hand, but I will be giving that away soon because LU Soccer have jumped on my channel as well. So I thought I'd best start doing some content again. So I'm not going to plug Urban Prepper. It's Black Cats Nation.
Very good.
And he's
I don't do anything.
So subscribe to Mike.
He does. I don't have anything to plug. I just work here, and I don't even do that very well, as you probably saw from the intro attempts that I did on here. So, right, well, we'll see you all later, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you again on Sunday for the game against Sheffield Wednesday. Take care. Goodbye.